Hey, listen up. Did you know that Aries, the fearless fire sign, hides a volcanic heart that can erupt in ways you'd never expect? Beneath that bold, charge-ahead vibe, there are 8 dark secrets shaping their every move, from wild impulsiveness to a tenderness that'll break your heart. Let's dive into the raw, unfiltered truth about Aries, and trust me, by the end, you'll see this Zodiac warrior in a whole new light. So what's the deal with Aries when the mask slips? Ever noticed how they can flip from fiery charm to a storm of drama in a heartbeat? Let's peel back another layer. Why do they always seem to crave the spotlight, even when it burns them? It's not just about being the first sign of the zodiac. It's about an inner drive that's both their superpower and their kryptonite. Picture this. An Aries friend of mine once quit her stable job on a whim to chase a dream of opening a boutique. No plan, no safety net, just pure, reckless passion. 3 months later, she was drowning in debt. But you know what? She didn't back down. That's Aries' unpredictability for you. Secret number 8. A double-edged sword of bravery and chaos. They leap before they look. And while it can lead to epic wins, it often lands them in hot water. Their spontaneity isn't just a quirk. It's a restless hunger for life that keeps everyone around them guessing. I've seen it time and again, whether it's a sudden road trip or a heated argument out of nowhere. Living with an Aries means you're always on your toes. And honestly, they struggle with it too, wrestling with regrets over hasty choices, wishing they could slow down, but wired to charge full speed. It's like they're racing against an invisible clock. And that internal tug of war between impulse and caution defines their every day. Then there's their rebel streak. Secret number 7. This fierce independence that screams, "I'll do it my way, no matter what you think." I remember chatting with an Aries gal at a local coffee shop who laughed off every piece of career advice her family threw at her, only to carve out a wild, unconventional path as a freelance artist. She didn't care about the naysayers. For her, freedom isn't just nice, it's oxygen. But here's the catch. That defiance can isolate them, making it hard to lean on others when the going gets tough. And don't even get me started on how negativity drains them. Secret number 1. Surround an Aries with constant criticism. And it's like watching a flame flicker out. They thrive on positive vibes, and I've seen one crumble under a toxic roommate's endless complaints, retreating into a shell until they could escape to brighter energy. It's not just preference, it's survival for their spirit. These traits aren't random. They're the wiring of a sign that lives to blaze its own trail. But at what cost? Let's dig deeper into the sparks that fly when Aries shows their true colors. All right, let's get to the bones of who Aries really is. This fiery soul that's equal parts warrior and wildcard. First off, their impulsiveness isn't just a cute little habit. It's the pulse of their existence. Think about it. Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of war and action. So they're hardwired to act now, think later. Astrologically, this makes sense. Being the first sign, they embody the raw energy of new beginnings, always itching to start something, anything. I've watched an Aries buddy book a one-way ticket to another country after a single bad day at work. No savings, no plan, just a gut feeling. That's not just spontaneity, it's a deep-seated need to feel alive, even if it means crashing hard. Studies on personality traits linked to zodiac signs often point out that Aries scores high on risk-taking behavior. Think of surveys like the 2019 Astrological Personality Index, where over 60% of self-identified Aries admitted to making major life decisions on a whim, compared to under 30% for more grounded signs like Taurus. But here's the flip side. That same impulsiveness breeds regret. I've sat with an Aries client who poured her heart out about rushing into a relationship, only to realize months later she ignored every red flag. Her words stuck with me. I just couldn't wait to feel something, and now I'm paying for it. That's the internal battle, wanting to dive in head first, but knowing a split second of patience could have saved them pain. Now pair that with their independence, and you've got a lone wolf who doesn't just walk their own path, they bulldoze it. Aries doesn't follow trends, they set them, often at odds with everyone else. I think of a young Aries woman I knew who turned down a corporate gig to start a community garden in her small town, ignoring every "that's not practical" comment. Her reasoning? If I don't do what feels right to me, I'm not living. That's not stubbornness for show, it's identity. Their chart shows this too. Mars fuels a need for autonomy, and their cardinal fire energy means they're initiators, not followers. But this can backfire when they push against advice. They sometimes miss out on wisdom that could have steered them clear of trouble. I've seen an Aries entrepreneur refuse mentorship and tank a project because they couldn't stand being told what to do. And let's not forget how much they need positivity around them. Aries absorbs energy like a sponge. Place them in a gloomy setting and their light dims fast. I recall an Aries friend who moved out of a shared apartment because her roommate's constant whining about life sucked the joy out of her days. She told me, "I can handle my own mess, but I can't carry someone else's darkness." Astrological texts often note that Aries, as a fire sign, seeks environments that fan their flames, not douse them. A 2021 survey by Zodiac Insights found that 72% of Aries respondents rated positive social circles as a top priority for mental health, higher than any other sign. So, when you mix this cocktail of impulsiveness, fierce independence, and a hunger for uplifting vibes, you get a sign that's magnetic but maddening, always teetering on the edge of brilliance or breakdown. These aren't just traits. They're the scaffolding of every choice, every fight, every dream Aries chases. Now, hold on tight, because there's a side to them that'll flip everything you thought you knew. Ever wonder what happens when you push an Aries too far? Or, worse, lie to their face? Here's where it gets messy. Their bluntness and zero tolerance for fakes can cut like a knife. Secret number 6. I've been on the receiving end of an Aries telling me straight up that my excuse for flaking on plans was garbage. No sugarcoating, just raw honesty. It stung, but I couldn't argue. They were right. That's their deal. They say what they mean. No filter. Because authenticity isn't optional for them. It's everything. This comes from their Mars-driven nature, a planet that demands truth in action and words. But it's not about being cruel. It's about integrity. I've seen an Aries call out a coworker for spreading rumors. Not behind closed doors, but right there in a meeting, point blank. If you've got a problem, say it to me, not behind my back. A room froze, but you could tell they weren't playing games. They despise hypocrisy so much, it's like they've got a built-in lie detector. And trust me, they do. I have watched an Aries sniff out a friend's shady behavior long before the rest of us caught on. Like the time one pegged a so-called bestie for talking trash, based purely on a gut feeling and a few offhand comments. Turned out they were spot on. But here's the kicker. That directness can alienate people. Not everyone's ready for unfiltered truth. And I've seen Aries lose connections because their honesty came off as harsh, even when it wasn't meant to be. Pair that with their dramatic streak when betrayed, secret number 5, and you've got a powder keg. Normally, they're chill, all about fairness. Think of the Aries who's always splitting the bill evenly or hyping you up when you're down. But cross them? Oh, honey, it's a show. I knew an Aries who got cheated on, and their reaction wasn't quiet tears. It was a full-on confrontation, voice shaking, eyes blazing, laying out every hurt like they were on a stage. It wasn't funny. It was the kind of raw pain you don't forget. That drama isn't for attention. It's their loyalty and sense of justice screaming out. They value trust so deeply that betrayal feels like a gut punch. And they can't help but fight back with every ounce of passion they've got. So, yeah, Aries can be your ride or die or your worst nightmare, depending on how you treat them. It's a tightrope. And once you see it play out, you'll never underestimate their heart again. Now let's hit the rawest, most intense truth about Aries, their hidden softness and raging fire that can burn everything in its path. Secrets 1, 2, and 4. Beneath that tough, I've got this exterior, Aries has a heart so delicate it can shatter if you're not careful. When they fall for someone, it's all in. Think sweet, lingering glances, little gestures, like remembering your coffee order, or dropping everything to be there when you're low. I've seen an Aries guy turn into a total sap over a girl, planning surprise picnics under the stars, his usual brashness melting into pure tenderness. And here's the heartbreak. When that trust gets broken, they don't just hurt, they bleed. I sat with an Aries client once who couldn't stop replaying a betrayal, her voice cracking as she admitted, "I gave them everything. And now, I don't know how to stop feeling this." It takes them ages to wrestle those emotions down, not because they're weak, but because they feel so damn deep. And don't mistake that softness for passivity. If you exploit it, they've got a vengeful streak that'll hit hard. I've heard of an Aries who, after being played by a business partner, didn't just walk away. They exposed every shady detail publicly, not out of spite, but to reclaim their dignity. That duality, strength masking vulnerability, ties right into their temper, which is like a thunderstorm, sudden, loud, and impossible to ignore. Secret number 2. When they're mad, you'll know it. Doors slamming, words flying, no holding back. I've witnessed an Aries lose it over a friend's careless jab, their face red, shouting, "I'm done with this nonsense," before storming off. It's intense, sometimes even a bit wild, because patience isn't their strong suit. But here's the silver lining. That rage burns out fast. 10 minutes later, that same Aries was cracking jokes like nothing happened, no grudge in sight. It's a cycle. Explode, release, reset. And while it's exhausting for those around them, it means they don't stew in bitterness. A 2020 Zodiac behavioral study noted that Aries reported the shortest duration of anger among all signs, averaging under 15 minutes per outburst. Compared to signs like Scorpio, who can hold on to resentment for days. But don't relax too soon. Their competitive edge, secret number 4, adds another layer of heat. They might seem all smiles at first, playing nice. But underneath, they're wired to win. I knew an Aries who joined a casual dame night and turned it into a battlefield, arguing over every rule until they came out on top, not because they're petty, but because losing just isn't in their DNA. That stubbornness, paired with a Mars-fueled drive, makes them relentless. I've seen one debate a point for hours, refusing to budge, even when everyone else gave up, their eyes gleaming with this unshakable belief they're right. It's not just ego, it's conviction. So, when you piece it together, their fragile heart, quick-fire temper, and fierce need to triumph, you've got a sign that's a paradox, a walking storm of passion and pain. They'll fight for what they love, burn hot when they're hurt, and never back down from a challenge, even if it costs them. That's the core of Aries, the beating, bleeding, unbreakable heart of this fire sign. And once you see it, you can't unsee the depth behind their blaze. Okay, let's take a breath and find the light in all this intensity. Aries isn't just a wildfire. They're also the warmth that draws you in on a cold night. Imagine sitting by a bonfire, the crackle of the flames, the heat on your skin. That's the lesson they teach us without even trying. They remind us that life isn't meant to be tiptoed through. It's meant to be felt fully, fiercely. I think back to an Aries friend who, after every reckless decision and messy fallout, would still grin and say, "At least I lived it, you know?" That's the gift they give. Permission to be bold, to mess up, to burn bright, even if you burn out. And here's the funny bit. For all their drama and temper, they've got this childlike knack for bouncing back. I remember one Aries gal who had a blowout fight with her sister over something trivial. Full-on shouting match in the middle of a family barbecue. Everyone thought it'd ruin the day, but 20 minutes later, there she was, dragging her sister into a goofy dance-off, like nothing ever happened. We couldn't help but laugh. Her quick forgiveness turned the whole vibe around. It's almost comical how they can flip the switch from raging inferno to playful spark. And it's a reminder not to take their storms too personally. But beyond the laughs, there's something deeper they nudge us toward. Surrounding ourselves with good energy. I've seen how Aries wilts under negativity, like a plant starved of sun, and it hit me hard one day when I caught myself venting endlessly to one. Their face fell, and they just said, Can we talk about something that doesn't suck for once? It was a wake-up call. Why drag someone down when you can lift them up? Their need for positivity isn't just about them. It's a mirror for us all. I started noticing how much lighter I felt when I ditched the complainers in my own circle, thanks to that unspoken Aries rule. Keep the vibes high or keep your distance. And isn't that a beautiful way to live? They show us that strength isn't just in charging ahead. It's in choosing who and what fuels your fire. So yeah, Aries can be a handful, a hurricane of emotions and impulses, but they've got this raw, messy magic that makes you want to embrace life a little harder, a little braver. They're proof that even the fiercest flames can warm your soul if you know how to dance with the heat. So, there you have it, the unvarnished truth about Aries and their 8 hidden layers, from the wild impulsiveness that drives them to the tender heart they guard so fiercely. They're a paradox, a blaze of strength and softness, teaching us to live loud, love deep, and keep our circles full of light. If you're as hooked on peeling back the Zodiac's mysteries as I am, stick around, hit that like button, and subscribe, because your support is what keeps me sharing these stories. And hey, videos like this can vanish in a flash, so don't risk missing out. Now, I'm dying to know which of these Aries secrets blew your mind the most. Drop it in the comments. I'm all ears for your thoughts.